Good morning. It is Friday, May the 8th. You are here with me, Rachel Witt, our programming coordinator, Westminster Village in West Lafayette, Indiana, for another episode of Friday at the studio at home. So today's theme is all about flowers. I am a sucker for pretty flowers. I probably started picking them about when I was about as young as I was able to reach down and grab them. Everything from dandelions to clover flowers. That's not really what I have on my dining room table so much anymore these days, but I've always been a sucker for them. I think they're good, uplifting, bright, cheerful medicine for the soul. And I hope that's what our projects this week are. So we have what's new in the studio. We have we have a special guest for Let's Make Art. Can't wait for you to see who that is. Of course, we have Jokes with John. We have some great show and tell items to take a look at. I've opened a kiln load. Oh, and the art on the internet today is amazing. So with all that said, let's get started. So this week I'm combining FAQ with Fred and Barney, making them share time with what's new in the studio. So one question I get asked quite a bit is, where do the themes for the different weeks come from? Well, the short answer is I make them up based on what something has reminded me or triggered it. And this week it was Mother's Day coming on Sunday. So happy Mother's Day to you. But every year that I've worked here at Westminster Village on or around Mother's Day, Life Enrichment and Dining have worked together to give all of the ladies a carnation. So as I record this, I am sitting with, I'm about to drip water in my shoe, hundreds of beautiful red, white, and pink carnations. They are making the studio smell beautiful right now. So those will be coming out, and I think it just made me think of flowers and my love for flowers, and then to come up with just limited numbers of flower projects. Why, I could probably do a month's worth of programming on flowers. You've probably seen it before, but I tried to limit it to a few that might be fun. Another question though that I'm asked is, Rachel, I watched the program, but I don't really want to do any of those projects, or I want to do it differently. Well, okay, do it differently. You don't have to do it the way I tell you. So if you see some of the projects coming up today and you think they look like fun, but you would use a different pattern or a different technique, or you have a different idea, it's okay. Just let me know if you need supplies for it, and let me know if I can help you finish it. So. And then finally, what's new in the studio? Well, I'm excited to say that most of the fantastical flock have gone out to Jim and Jim's Dahlia bed. And this has been a project we've worked on for a long time, and I can finally show you some kind of pictures here of birds in progress. All of these were made in the studios in the ceramic classes. They are they're based on a thrown bottom piece and altered, so they're called thrown and altered, where the body was thrown and the head and wings and other birdie features were hand built, were hand added to those. So I'm excited also to have here on the screen a list of the different resident artists who worked on these. It's a funny thing, we've got a lot of Jims and Marys and Dianes in ceramics, but some other names thrown in there as well too. So we've had a great time working on these. We started in January and here it is May, but we have got a lovely collection of bird family out there. I think they're going to brighten up the garden as the plants are starting to grow and come into play, and that was really our objective, is to kind of make it a little bit more of a 3-season destination for viewing. And so if you're out and about for a walk, when the temperature warms up, take a chance to go over there by the garden and meet the flock. Again, great thanks to the beautiful artists who contributed to this project. Hey, here we are. Let's make art. Project number 1. Special guest. Hey, look who I got. Yay. I'm so excited to have Dawn in here. Dawn and I are one of the odd duckies here at Westminster. We are the 2 people who care for residents the full continuum of care, from when they're outside in the community up until end of life, right?
Yep.
We are 2 familiar faces, which is a great blessing. It is a great blessing.
Hi, Rachel.
Hi!
I'm so excited to be here and do art with you.
Good. It's
What
a good
joy.
one. And you know, I'm always up for figuring out ways to do projects that will, well,
Make me feel like an artist,
yes,
please.
yes, that, yeah,
Because
everybody.
I'm not an artist,
No, everybody says that. And you know, I'm gonna argue with you.
but I want to be one.
Okay. So what we do is this project is one that we can do in our homes that is not messy. I say that. So look at this. Check it out.
Ooh.
Okay.
That's pretty.
So our theme this week is flowers, and the objective was to put flowers. Oh, I'm not even showing you. I'm so sorry. I'm showing Dawn. Here we go. See that? Isn't that cool? I love that one. So what we do is put the flowers on here using kind of an unusual technique.
Can I just have that one?
No.
Oh.
No. Oh, now that's what happens. Okay, so here's our technique for this. You all know the scarves are a thing. Most of you have made scarves with me at some point or another, but if you've done it before, you know that we use dyes. We use liquid dyes, and they are fairly treacherous because a little bit stains everything. So I didn't feel good about sending that to your home. Here's what I did feel good about sending. Check that out. Do you have any idea what that might be?
They look like rocks.
They do. They look like rocks. You see them in there? They look quite a bit like rocks, but they are Easter egg dye pellets.
Oh.
You know,
very cool.
I'm a fan of using all things. So this is one of my bags of things I'm not really sure what to do with yet. I'm still working on those dipsticks. There's a plan. I don't know what it's going to be, but I'm using everything. But what I've done is I've taken all those little Easter egg pellets and I've cut them apart. Oh gosh, I can't even. Here, let me hold it up. There we go. Little pellets of dye. They do look like rocks. But what we're going to do is use that, and we're going to use colored bleeding tissue. So bleeding tissue is this stuff right here. Bleeding tissue or art tissue, it is designed really to release its color, which we want it to do. And so we are using Easter egg dye pellets and bleeding tissue
Never knew there was such a thing.
to dye a scarf, right? So here's our scarf. Now most of you know I've done this. Where'd it go? Oh, here it is. Most of you know in the past we've done silk scarves, but I felt like a little bit something different. That, and with the current shipping conditions, I could not get silk scarves.
I
So
like these though.
they're nice.
Yeah.
So these are kind of a gauzier
Nice for summer.
cotton. They're great for summer, and they're a little bit big. They're a nicer wrap. I think they're lovely. Pure white, which is always what we go for. So you'll get it. It'll be folded up like this. Oh my goodness, little screen. You're also going to get from me in this kit a little bit bigger towel than your usual art towel. I'm pulling out the recycled bath towels for this one. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to lay your towel, your scarf out there nice and flat. Okay. And you're going to take your little pellets. Oh, a blue and an orange and a red. Oh, they are. They're soft and they wash up really nicely. They're nice and lightweight. And then also your pile of tissue paper here. Here we go. And you are going to put little pieces of the dye and little pieces of the tissue paper in here in the end, and you're just going to roll it up
I'm just gonna rip tissue paper
and put little pellets.
wherever I want on
Well,
them.
you're going to do it and roll. I'll show you do it, and I'll show everybody what you're doing.
Okay.
So start at one end.
I don't have to use all the colors though,
Oh gosh,
right?
no!
I
Use
can just
whatever
use
colors you like.
my favorite colors.
Yeah. Oh, see. Oh, good. I guessed well.
Yeah.
So she is picking a nice selection of like teals and greens.
Yeah. Maybe some purple in there.
Yeah, that's nice. This bleeds really nicely. This
Does
part.
it? Okay,
Yeah.
that's that color.
Okay.
Yeah. I like different blues. Do I have all the blues? Yes, I have all the
I
blues.
think you have all the blues.
Okay.
So you're just
How
gonna.
big should the pieces be?
It could be really big or really small. It doesn't matter.
Am I going for a pattern here, or see?
No,
This is the perfectionism in me. Rachel's
gotta-
gonna try and work that out.
you got to let it go.
Let it go.
Let it go. Just throw the stuff down on
Okay.
there.
Just throw it down.
Throw a couple pellets in there.
Am I just doing a small section,
You
right?
could do a little bit at a time, or you could do the whole thing. It doesn't matter. There's not a wrong way. We say that in here in the studio a lot.
I love that.
Not a wrong way.
I'm a wannabe artist. I've always wanted to have an art form, but I never felt like I could do art.
Maybe this is the day.
Yeah, so I'm envious of all the residents being able to come in here and learn how to do things like this. What a great experience.
Well, they currently can't come in here.
Well, not come in the
Fairly
studio,
well,
but I
no.
tell you what, I'd be doing my kit every week. That's for sure.
Yeah, you can get art kits still, you know that. And so exactly, she's throwing these little pellets down in there. Here you go. And
Hard
you
to
just-
imagine this is going to turn into something.
I know.
This
It is a
pink.
Yeah, I don't know. I broke those a long time ago. Hard to say. Flower
Well-
gardens, you know, sometimes you plant and you know what you're getting, and sometimes you don't.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
I just planted some dahlias. I'm going to try and see if I can grow one like Jim and Jim do. They gave it to me. What color is that?
Agreed.
Oh, that's green. I don't want red.
Okay.
All right, do I need more?
Yep.
Lots more?
Yep. She's being very careful. See this little bits and pieces and nothing touches. You're gonna have to let that go.
Oh, okay.
You're gonna have to let it go. Because what we're doing next, after you roll this up nice and tight, is we're shoving it in a peanut butter jar
Oh, okay.
with vinegar water.
All right.
So
So
just-
it don't need to be.
No, no, this is not a careful thing. Not a careful
I
thing.
suppose there's a lot of other people like me, though, that get a little
Absolutely.
nervous, right, when you're doing art. Try and make it perfect.
Yeah, they do. You know, and I think that that's a really great thing for those who want to be perfect. Most people who've made art with me know that I'm a little bit more in the less perfect end of things.
Well, you probably will never learn how to do art if you're always trying to make it perfect, right?
Well, I
'Cause
think
I think art's a lot about experimenting.
it is, but and there are also different types of artists, different styles of art. Today we're talking about flowers, and one of the art on the internet things that we're looking at is the National Gallery, and it's a whole study on people learning to make art outside.
Oh.
And
That
see,
sounds
it's really, the art on the internet segment this week is really neat. But it's later, though I've already recorded it, so it's out of order. Life is confusing sometimes. Anyway,
Yes, it is, but it's still good.
it is good. So anyway, I think that adding it outside doing things outside is probably,
Inspiring.
it is inspiring, but it also, there's a certain thing like, wind and the sun in your
Oh, I
eyes and
didn't think of that.
and the bugs, and
Yeah.
and so I think there's a component of spontaneity that
Yeah.
making things in nature would bring. Yeah, like, I mean, if I weren't wearing a mask, I could just blow on that,
Right.
and that would be the end of that.
Actually, you'd be really proud of me because last weekend, it's amazing what quarantining opens up for you. Last weekend, for the first time in my whole life, I was out on my back porch with my watercolors, and I was following a beginner watercolor deal, whatever, a tutorial.
Mm-hmm.
But I learned one very important lesson. Don't do it under the oak tree. I kept finding all kinds of little things in my painting. I couldn't understand why.
Yeah.
And there
Tree
it was.
debris.
Yep, tree debris.
All right.
Is that
So,
good?
Yes, this is good. This could take us a while. So here I want to show everybody the next step,
Okay.
and then
Because I'm making too many small pieces. Is that it?
well, get your own style, Dawn. Just roll with your style. Own it. Own it. Okay. But now I want you to take the end of this and roll it up,
Okay.
like nice and tight, like,
Oh, yeah. It's no wonder it doesn't have to be perfect if
Yeah.
you're doing that.
And you're going to roll it all up right on top of each other.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Why worry? So
Yep.
just have fun. Rip
Yep.
that tissue paper.
Stuff it in there.
Scatter that stuff around. Who cares? Because it's going to end up being what it's going to end up being.
So do you still dye Easter eggs?
No, I haven't in a long time.
You're not. Okay, well,
And my kid was disappointed this year because he remembered our Greek friends.
Mm-hmm.
He said, you should have at least made the blue ones because the Greek people, Orthodox, they just dye blue eggs.
Okay, so stop there so you still have time. Okay, so we dye Easter eggs still at my house, and
do?
oh yeah, the kids, yeah, we have to do it, and then I eat a lot of eggs after that. Way too many eggs. Okay, the Easter eggs are officially gone at my house. Okay, so Dawn has done half of this. Here, let me show you. There. Oh, good golly, you would think. There we go. Oh my goodness. You all know this is a low-tech video production, right? The
Sorry.
tissue paper just flew off me into the table. Okay, so what happens is she rolls all this up. She gets it all the way tissued and all the way pigmented. And just like an Easter egg, when you stick it in those little vinegar tinted waters, we're gonna roll that up and we're gonna shove the whole roll down in here.
Okay.
So this is water and vinegar, and you'll get this in your home kit too. And you're gonna let it sit there.
Oh my
on
gosh.
On your counter.
That's
You-
so easy.
You have to just leave it alone. Just don't touch it. And then you're going to return it to me. This jar, this is like a science experiment. You're going to return it to me. Please put your name on your jar. It's very important. And then after it's fully processed, so the Easter egg pellet in there, this thing is going to disintegrate. And it gives these great kind of bursty finishes. That's
So
what happens
pretty.
there. And voila.
That's so easy.
I know.
Okay.
And you can't make a mess in your house unless you throw tissue paper on your floor like Dawn just did here in the
I
studio.
did. I
Yeah.
really did.
but
But now I know what to do for the rest of it. I'm going to sit here and finish it.
she's gonna finish it. But for that, we're gonna go. I've got 2 more projects. Here we are back here for project number 2. You can see my face now. I think that makes it a little bit easier. Speaking of my face, so my daughter, my 14-year-old, I was complaining about how I hated watching myself on the video because I just felt like I looked terrible. And she said to me, well, you know, Mom, you could try doing your hair and putting some makeup on. So, Lily, this is for you today. I've given it a try. I don't know that it's any better, but keep in mind, those of you watching this, that this daughter who suggested this to me, well, this is a picture of her playing around with makeup last week. Yeah. Nothing like a pandemic to bring out some interesting projects, right? All right, so this is our project number 2, though. Get back on track here. It's definitely a flower. You get it with this little, this is what it looks like, all put together. And it fits nicely inside of an envelope. So you can send it out as a note card. It's kind of an odd note card, but I think it will really brighten somebody's day when they receive it, because when they open it up, take a look at that. And where you can write notes inside of it, all you've got to do is kind of fold this flat on the table and write notes inside of the different pages. It's kind of hard to show you up in the air, but it really is pretty easy to do. And so the project is, don't worry, I'm not about to walk you through folding all those pieces of paper, I promise you. In the kit from me, you will get these petals already made, already folded. I watched a movie, I sat in my living room, I folded flower petals for quite some time. It was very nice. Had a little glass of wine. It was a good evening. So you'll get the flower petals, and you're also going to get a piece of paper that looks like this. This is a cold press watercolor paper. It's really nice and heavyweight. And you will watercolor just straight over the top of this. And there's one that I did to give you an idea with watercolor, and I sprinkled on some salt to get that. And you'll return that to me along with your petals. You will have decided what color to make the centers of them. So you'll come in and paint or mark your centers here. And then I will get those back from you. I will assemble your fantastic note card, put it with an envelope, and you'll have something cool to send out to somebody you love. That's project number 2. 1 more to go. Here we go. It's time for project number 3. So this one is jelly plate printing. I'll show you what we're going to use the end result on here in a moment, but this one is art kit comes with a list of instructions and actually some pictures of the process so that you can kind of follow it along. But I wanted to show you some of the products that we'll be using. They're a little bit different. Of course, you're going to get a towel, art towels always. You're going to get this. This is a jelly plate. It's actually a silicone. It's a little bit sticky. It's very flexible. It's reusable. Obviously, this one's been used quite a bit. But this makes a really nice surface to apply paint and alcohol ink and water too, and then you can use and take lift prints off of the surface of this. So that's how we get this process going. So you will get some other things to know about. You'll get little cups of paint, and they'll be labeled. Ooh, let me throw them down on the table. Like this, kind of see number 3 on there. They'll be labeled so you'll know what order. It'll match up to the directions. And then also get these pipettes. So this is very much a squeeze paint on type of thing. And so these, of course, you just squeeze them like a dropper, pull the paint up into them, and then squeeze the bulb out onto the jelly plate to get everything you want. And then we'll take prints using newsprint. Newsprint is great for this type of work because it absorbs very, very quickly, but is still very lightweight, and lets us cut out different shapes. So let me pull one up here. Here's an example. You look at that. It's a beautiful blue flower. Now, why would we want little blue flowers or red flowers or pink flowers or whatever? Well, because of this. That's right, it's birdhouse gourd time again. I have not done birdhouse gourds with everyone. It has not been a project since, well, it's been 4 years. The last time I did this, we were in the village square. Here I am doing it again, but this time in your homes. Go figure. So what'll happen is you'll get a gourd, and you'll get some paint. If you want to base paint the color, this one is white, of course. You don't have to. You can do it on the natural gourd. But then you'll get a selection of flowers. Ta-da! And you will use an adhesive to mount those on to the gourd or wherever you would like them to be to decorate it. You'll return that here to the studios, and I will drill the hole so the bird can get in. It's always a good thing. And also put a special sealer on it. So the last time we did these, it's been 4 years ago. I still have one hanging outside of my home. There's a really great longevity in them. I think these are great bazaar items. I think they're great gift items. I think they're great if you happen to have a tree or someplace to hang one outside on your property, if you're in a cottage or something like that. So, fun little project, but it's a 2-parter. First things first, you'll make the art paper that we will turn into the punched flowers. We will return to you with the gourd and the sealer, and you'll finish that project up. So it's a 2-step. I have about 20 gourds available, so quite a few if anyone's interested in taking this project on, or if you'd like to take 2, just let me know. I think that's it for Let's Make Art this week. 3 projects. It's going to be a busy week. Show and tell time. Oh, kind of an interesting assortment of things to show you this week in show and tell. First things first, I promised I opened a kiln load up. We have a couple of really kind of sweet brown neutrals. So make a great little flower pot. Ooh, if I don't drop it, oh my gosh. Also have a couple of nice little kind of neutral bowls. I love the polka dot. They're kind of faint. You can see them there on the outside. Of sweet little vases. I like the way the finish in these came out. So deeply textured things really offer some great interest when we glaze. Look at the top of that beauty. Those are both destined for the bazaar. I think those are going to be good ones. Oh, everybody knows the egg cooker. If you haven't seen one of these before, we made a whole lot of these. This is a great big one. This might actually be good for a microwave cake, perhaps. I've gotten to kind of plumb the depths of microwave cakes at my house lately. A nice large bowl here. I like the striped kind of pattern of that. We also have a number of people, before we broke classes, we were working on some different mobile projects. So here are a few more examples of parts and pieces of different mobiles that were made. These belong to Jim, and aren't those lovely? All strung together. So those of you who are working on those mobile projects, a lot of your pieces are out, and stringing them is one of those things that would be best if we made an appointment to come in and learn how to do it and pick up all the tools and then take it home and work on it. Probably it's a little bit of a tedious task, but not difficult, just a little tedious. And then I have to show these off. This is this week's selection of new note cards. It's hard to see, isn't it? Here we go. Great thanks to Marge, who's been faithfully gluing and stamping and sorting and packing those for me. It's a big help. And I have to show this one off. The pot itself has been in the studio for a little while. Michela's done that one. I love that carving on that. But look, this plant is just taking off. I don't know what's going on with these spider plants, but Emma had repotted probably, oh golly, 40 of the darn things. We got spider plant party going on here in the studio. The spider plants know that it's spring. Last but not least, I received a picture this week from someone. You may be familiar with these little kind of craft kits. They're kind of like a paint by number, but using little teeny tiny plastic colored pieces. And so someone here received one of those from their daughter, I believe. Might have been a granddaughter, but they discovered pretty quickly how small those little pieces were. And I think that their method for resolving the problem was brilliant. They very carefully shook the little pieces out in the general area of where they belonged, and then I sent them some special sealer product that they dabbed on the top of it, and take a look at this. That's pretty cool, right? I think it's a brilliant solution to a whole lot of little tiny pieces of plastic that you're supposed to put in some sort of order. I appreciate this order, and I thought you might enjoy it as well. So that's it for show and tell this week in the studios. I'll have more next week, it's guaranteed. So today for Art on the Internet, I Googled famous painters of flowers. It was simple enough. And I came up with this great article by the Met of 12 of what they labeled the most famous flower paintings. And I'll put some of them up here on the screen as I talk. They're really beautiful. And they're really different. That's what struck me about them, is how different they all were from one another. And that led me to doing a bit more digging on some of these artists and where different collections are. So I have two different websites I'd like to direct you to. One of them you're probably very, very familiar with. It is the National Gallery, of course, in Washington, D.C. And the National Gallery, I'm going to switch over here and look at my screen. The National Gallery has done, like so many other different museums at this point, they've put some really nice online or virtual tours out there available while they have to be closed. So the URL for that, of course, is right here. It's an easy one, nga.gov. I guess there's some benefits of being the National Gallery, and a short URL is one of them. So anyway, if you go to the home page of that, up at the top you'll kind of see there's some interesting there's a meditation for frontline workers, and there's a little education piece on mindful looking, and those are both interesting enough. But if you scroll down just a little bit below that, there's a section called virtual exhibitions, and one of those that they have listed is True to Nature, a virtual tour. It's really interesting. Actually, all of these virtual tours are really interesting, but I think you really will like it, like this True to Nature. It really talks about the history of painting outside, which I think is well, it's interesting. If you scroll down a little bit, there's a 3D Explore, where you click on the triangle, and then you can kind of do like you're walking through the museum space or through the exhibit. But if you scroll down just a little bit, there's a recorded curator's quick tour. There is a lecture that's kind of an introduction to the exhibition. There are some different interview type of things. You can spend a long time in the comfort of your own home kind of touring this particular exhibit. There's really fantastic information. There's even one about the weather. all the strange weather we've been having, it might be interesting. So that's our first different virtual tour today. The other one I was not as familiar with, the Barnes collection. And I came about this because, of course, Renoir was very famous for painting flowers, and the Barnes collection, they have the largest collections of Renoir paintings in the world. Who knew? I would have thought that was anywhere else than in the United States. But they have it. From their main page, you can click on What's On up at the top. And if you go to What's On, they're rotating different programs in weekly. So you can look at the Barnes collection. And they also have some kind of contemporary art that's available. And at the bottom of that screen, you can look for a link to something called Barnes at Home. And Barnes at Home is specifically during this time. But they have really quick links to explore their art online. They also have art talks that are on. So as I am recording this, they have, oh, it's playing, wait. They have a daily serving of art with Cezanne's Bathers. And so that might be an interesting one to bookmark and kind of poke around and look at, particularly on those rainy, gray days when you need a little diversion. So they're pretty quick and pretty entertaining, very informative. So they also have music available on there, and they have online classes if you're interested in a little bit deeper dive into that. So really, really a lot of good information there. And last but not least, if you have grandchildren, they have a link down at the very bottom of this Barnes at Home that is family art time. And so it might be a fun link to send to the younger members in your family and let them know how hip you are. Staying up on all the arty news all over the place. So that is Art on the Internet this week. And that's a wrap. But don't worry, I haven't forgotten. I will leave you today with Jokes with John. I also have some other exciting news. I offer you this little bit of springtime. This is a picture of our new puppy. We'll be picking him up Sunday. Her up Sunday. Her name is Fern. Many of you know that we have been seeking a sibling for Francis, our dog, and we have picked up Fern. We've been waiting for a long time for her. She is a mix of a double doodle and a hound, a coon hound. So she'll be, I think, an interesting character, an interesting addition to our family. More on the puppy later. And I'll leave you with the flowers, a little laugh with John, and we'll see you next Wednesday for Brain Boot Camp, where our theme is Frog Jumping Day, National Frog Jumping Day. I think I came up with some weird themes of things. And then on Friday, I'll see you again for art, where we will be making art with food. That's right, food. Food-based art, food-themed art. I don't know what it's going to be yet. I'll come up with something. Have a great week. Welcome back. It's Jokes with John time. You ready, John?
Yes, very funny.
It's very funny?
It's Flower Day.
It is Flower Day. Flowers are the theme. So what flower jokes do you have for me today? And Francis.
Oh yeah, Francis.
Yeah.
She's here. She likes the camera.
Yeah.
And Mom.
Yes. Okay.
Alright.
Jokes. Give me the jokes.
Hey Mom.
What?
How do you know that flowers can kiss?
How do you know that flowers can kiss?
They have two lips.
Have two lips.
Correct.
All right. Number two. Joke number two. Francis, that was just, yeah. Okay, go ahead, John.
All right. What did you hear about the flower that was dating another flower?
No, I didn't.
It's a budding romance.
Okay, that's cute. Love is in the air with the flowers.